Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. If you enjoy learning English through stories and listening practice, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below telling us where you are watching from. Your support helps us make more great content for you. People order coffee, but when it arrives, their cups are empty. Mark owns a small cafe on a quiet street. Every morning, he arrives at 7 a.m. to open the doors. He likes to see the sun rise and the first customers walk in. His cafe smells of fresh coffee and warm pastries. He feels happy when he hears the machine gurgle and the milk steamer hiss. Today, Mark puts on his green apron and checks the tables. All are clean. He arranges the chairs and turns on the lights. Then he prepares coffee beans and fills the grinder. He wants to make sure everything is perfect for the first customer. At 7:30 a.m., the door chime rings. Mark smiles. A customer walks in. She looks tired but hopeful. Mark says, "Good morning, what would you like today?" The customer says, "A latte, please." Mark nods, grinds fresh beans, steams the milk, and pours a perfect latte art heart on top. He places the cup on the counter and calls, "Latte for Sarah." Sarah comes, picks up the cup, and looks inside. She frowns. "Mark, there's no coffee in my latte," she says, holding the cup up. Mark's heart stops. He takes the cup, looks inside. It's empty. He feels confused and worried. Mark quickly makes a second latte for Sarah. He watches as he fills the cup with coffee. He places it on the counter. He calls, "Latte for Sarah," again. Sarah takes the new cup and smiles this time. She nods and walks to her table. She takes a sip and looks relieved. Mark wipes his forehead. He thought he was dreaming. Could a cup be empty by mistake? He checks his machine, the grinder, and the coffee beans. Everything seems fine. A minute later, another customer arrives. His name is Tom. He orders an Americano. Mark makes it with care. He hands Tom his cup and watches him walk away. Tom finds his seat, lifts the cup, and gasps. The cup is empty. Tom calls out, "Hey, Mark, my coffee is gone." Mark hurries over. He looks in the cup. It is empty again. He feels a cold chill. Mark's mind races. He checks the machine. It is working. He watches the grinder. It is grinding. He watches the espresso pour. It pours. He tastes the drip. Tastes right. Then, moments later, the cup is empty. Mark feels frustrated. He wipes his brow, mutters, "No, no, no." He looks around the cafe. Only a few customers remain. All seem calm. No one is making a fuss. Mark decides to keep working. He tells Tom, "I'm so sorry. Here's a fresh Americano." He makes the drink again and watches closely. He sees the coffee pour into the cup. He watches for a minute. He sees no one near the counter. He turns to deliver the drink. And in that second, the cup is empty again. Tom laughs nervously. "Maybe I'm part of a magic show?" Mark forces a smile and gives him a third cup on the house. Tom thanks him and sits down again, unsure what to think. Word spreads quickly. The cafe door opens and closes as more regulars arrive. One of them is Emma. She orders a cappuccino. Mark is now wary. He makes the cappuccino and places it on the counter. Emma picks up the cup, peers inside, and exclaims, "Hey, I think my coffee evaporated." She laughs. The other customers hear and join in. They think it is a joke. A few ask for free cookies. Some ask for free drinks. Laughter fills the cafe. Someone suggests it is a ghost prank. Another says it is a new diet. They serve empty drinks. A third thinks the cups have secret holes. They joke, Don't put your mouth too close or you'll fall in. Mark tries to maintain order. He tells everyone the drinks are on the house today. He apologizes and makes each drink 3 times. The customers laugh and tease him kindly. They enjoy the free coffee, even if it vanishes. By noon, 5 empty cups have appeared. Late morning rush comes and goes. Mark writes down each incident on a pad. 7:30 a.m., Sarah's latte. 7:45 a.m., Tom's Americano. 8:10 a.m., Emma's cappuccino. 9 a.m., local writer's espresso. 10:15 a.m., delivery driver's mocha. Each time the customer orders hot coffee. Each time Mark makes the drink. Each time within a minute the cup is empty. Mark starts to worry. Is someone stealing my coffee? Or is it a machine error? Or is it me? He checks the machine 4 times. He asks his assistant Lucy to watch too. Lucy nods, looks puzzled. She watches but sees nothing. The cups are always full when they leave the machine, always empty on the table. Most customers laugh and stay. They like free drinks, some film videos on their phones. They post on social media. Empty coffee challenge. The cafe becomes a local sensation. Lines form outside. People want to see the vanishing coffee. One customer, old Mr. Brown, orders tea. He watches carefully. He waits 5 minutes. The tea is still there. He sips it and says, "Ah, nice tea." Then he jokes, maybe it hates coffee. A barista friend, Anna, comes by. She wants to learn Mark's secret. She arrives at 11 a.m. and orders an Americano. Mark makes it. Anna watches. She films with her phone. "I want to catch the trick," she says. The cup is full in Anna's hand. She walks to the table, turns back, and yells, "What in the world?" The cup is empty again. She nearly drops her phone. She laughs, amazed. Mark closes early at 4 p.m. He thanks the last customers and locks the door. He looks at Lucy. "Tomorrow we watch with CCTV," he says. Lucy nods. They go to the small office behind the counter. Mark turns on the security monitor. He sees 3 camera feeds: counter and espresso machine, main floor and tables, back door and storage area. They rewind the footage to 7 a.m. They watch the first incident. Sarah walks in, orders her latte, and Mark makes it. The camera shows the cup on the counter. Sarah picks it up. She leaves. The feed hides the table. They can't see the cup's fate. Lucy says, "We need a camera on the table." Mark agrees. They plan to install a 4th camera tomorrow. That night, Mark can't sleep. He tosses and turns. He wonders about coffee thieves, ghosts, magic spells, or caffeine fairies. He thinks, maybe the cafe cat is involved. He laughs at the thought. His cat, Mocha, sleeps at home. Surely Mocha can't steal coffee. But the thought doesn't leave him. He checks his phone for hypnotism videos. He watches ghost stories online. He tweets about water-empty coffee mystery. He drifts to sleep at 2 a.m., dreaming of floating coffee cups. Early the next morning, Mark arrives at the cafe before sunrise. He moves quietly, not wanting to wake Lucy, who lives in the apartment above. He checks his watch. It is 6:15 a.m. He turns on the lights and opens the storage door. He sees the new CCTV camera box on the shelf. Last night, he ordered it online. He carries it behind the counter. Lucy joins him at 6:30. She yawns and stretches. "Ready for more magic?" she asks. Mark smiles and shakes his head. "Let us finish installing the 4th camera over tables 2 and 3, he says. They attach the small dome camera under the ceiling beam. It points toward the seating area where most empty cups appeared. At 7 a.m., before any customers arrive, Mark tests all 4 feeds. He sips a quick espresso and watches the monitors. Machine camera shows the grinder and espresso group. Counter camera shows the bar and order area. Floor camera covers tables and chairs. Door camera shows the back entrance and storage. Mark grips the espresso cup. He half smiles. "Now we will see everything," he says. Lucy clicks record. They step back to the small office and wait. At 7:30, Sarah walks in. She waves and orders a latte. On camera 1, Mark grinds beans and pours coffee. On camera 2, Lucy places the cup on the counter. On camera 3, Sarah lifts the cup and puts it on table 2. Mark and Lucy watch closely. They see Sarah walk to her seat. She waits. After 30 seconds, the cup looks full. Then, without any person near it, the camera 3 shows the cup's surface flatten, no coffee. The latte art heart remains as an outline on the froth, but the liquid is gone. Lucy gasps quietly. Mark rewinds frame by frame. He sees nothing touching the cup. There is no hand, no wind, no trick. The coffee itself seems to vanish. "Pause," Mark says. He freezes the screen at the moment the coffee disappears. He zooms in mentally. After Sarah leaves, Mark makes his way to table 2. He inspects the spot. The table is dry, no spills, no stains, no cracks. The coaster is normal. There are no tiny holes. The fallout stand under the table is empty. Mark touches the tabletop. It feels normal. Back in the office, Mark and Lucy compare notes. They list possible ideas. A secret vacuum under the table, a hidden hole in the cup or table, a chemical that dissolves coffee, a ghost or magic, a human thief, something moving quickly, out of sight, an animal working too fast. Lucy shivers. "An animal?" she whispers. "You mean like a rat?" Mark laughs. "Let us not rule out anything," he says softly. They decide to check the storage area next. At 8 a.m., they unlock the heavy door to the back room. Inside are boxes of cups, extra coffee beans, cleaning supplies, and their cat's crate. The crate is empty. Mocha the cat is usually at home. Mark pulls the boxes aside. He notices a small panel on the wall, half hidden behind a stack of paper towels. Its paint matches the wall. The panel looks odd, like a door. "Lucy, look here," Mark says. He points. Lucy presses her ear to the panel. She hears a faint sound, like scratching and tiny meows. Her eyes widen. "Is Mocha in there?" she asks. Mark shakes his head. "Mocha sleeps in the apartment. This is something else." Mark presses a latch and the panel swings open. Inside is a narrow, dark passage. It smells of coffee grounds. The walls are dusty. A small lamp hangs inside. The passage is about 1 meter wide and 2 meters tall, but it bends out of sight towards the cafe floor. Mark grabs a flashlight. Lucy follows. They crawl into the passage. It slopes gently downward. As they move, they see paw prints in the dust, tiny prints that match a cat's. They hear faint noises ahead, the drip of water and the soft gurgle of an espresso machine. They stop and listen. "It leads under the counter," Lucy says. Mark nods. He shines the light forward. On the floor are dark seeds, coffee beans. Some are whole, some are broken. They follow the trail carefully. After 5 meters, they reach an opening under the counter, behind the pastry display. Mark emerges first and crawls on his stomach onto the cafe floor. Lucy follows. They are behind the counter, in the secret nook they never knew existed. They can see the grinder and the group head only a few feet away. Mark hears a soft meow. Lucy freezes. They look toward the back of the counter. There, in a small cubby, sits a sleek orange and white cat, Mocha's twin, exactly the same size but with green eyes instead of blue. Its fur is slightly oily, and its whiskers twitch. The cat sits among a pile of coffee beans. It paws at a small pile of ground coffee. A tiny spout directs beans from a hidden pipe connected to the grinder above. The cat drops beans down the spout, then eats them one by one. Behind the cat is a hole in the pipe. Someone cut it to let beans spill. Mark and Lucy stare in shock. They whisper, "The cafe cat!" The cat pauses, looks at them, and flicks its tail. It meows softly and darts deeper into the passage, carrying a single coffee bean in its mouth. Lucy jumps to her feet. Mark holds out his hand. "Wait, little thief." But the cat disappears quickly into the tunnel. Mark and Lucy return to the office, closing the panel behind them. They sit down, hearts racing. "The cat is stealing our coffee beans," Lucy says. Mark nods. "Without beans, we cannot make coffee. Sometimes the machine grinds, but the beans spill out first. That is why the cup is empty." Lucy writes another note. 10:05 a.m. Cat spotted in secret tunnel. Mark leans back. He feels tired but relieved. No ghosts, no magic, just a hungry cafe cat. However, one question remains. How did the cat learn to open the machine's bean hopper? And who built this secret passage? Mark and Lucy decide to investigate further tonight. After closing time at 7 p.m., Mark and Lucy set a gentle trap for the cat. They move tables aside and place a small dish of fresh coffee beans near the passage entrance. Then they place a motion sensor camera with night vision at the opening. Finally, they sprinkle a few beans along the corridor floor, leading up to the trap. Mark checks the counter cameras one last time. He locks the front door. Lucy turns off the lights and sets the alarm, but keeps the office lights on so she can watch the camera feed all night. Mark goes home, anxious to see what happens. Lucy stays behind. She brings coffee and snacks to the office. At 8 p.m., she checks the camera with the trap. The corridor is empty. At 9:30, she sees two glowing eyes, mocha brown, sliding into view. The cat steps forward, sniffs the beans, and follows the trail. The cat reaches the bowl. It eats one bean. Then it triggers the sensor. A soft chime. Lucy watches in excitement as the camera pans to record the cat eating. The cat pauses, licks its paw, and licks the bean dust from its whiskers. Then it turns away, arches its back, and strolls back into the tunnel. Lucy laughs quietly. The cat did not seem afraid. It simply ignored the trap and went back. Lucy sighs. The trap did not catch the cat, but now she has proof. Next morning at 6 a.m., Mark meets Lucy in the cafe. She shows him the night footage on her laptop. They watch the cat eat beans. Mark recalls that Mocha disappeared 3 weeks ago. He mourned the cat's loss. Now he realizes Mocha's twin, which he assumed did not exist, might be the cafe's secret cat. Mark thinks, perhaps the previous owner of the building trained a cafe cat to take beans, or maybe a barista raised a cat here and built the tunnel. Mark plans to dig into the cafe's history. At 8 a.m., Mark opens the cafe. Customers line up again, hoping for empty cup magic. Lucy stands by the counter, smiling. After the morning rush, Mark takes a break. He walks to the local library. He asks the librarian, Mrs. Green, about the cafe's past. The building was once a bookstore in the 1950s. then a jazz club in the 1970s, and finally converted to a cafe 20 years ago. Mrs. Green gives him old blueprints. On one drawing, a note reads, "Service tunnel for delivering books. Keep quiet." The tunnel runs from the back storage to a secret room under the stage. The cafe's prior owner must have left it unused. Mark studies the map. He sees that the tunnel meets the kitchen storage, exactly where he found the panel. It was never used by staff. Someone must have modified it to funnel coffee beans. Next, Mark visits the previous cafe owner, Mr. Allen, who now lives in a retirement home. Mr. Allen is 82, with bright eyes and a memory for detail. Mark brings a box of pastries and a recorder. Sitting in a cozy lounge, Mr. Allen sips tea. "Strange you find that tunnel," he says. "I built it to move books quietly. Then I closed it. When I sold the place, I forgot about it." Mark asks, "Do you know who might have used the tunnel after you left?" Mr. Allen thinks hard. "The barista who bought the place. Her name was Carla. She loved cats. She trained one to entertain customers. She might have built a shortcut for the cat. Carla's cafe cat became famous for stealing croissants. She called it Croissant Bandit. One night, Carla vanished and her cafe closed. No one knew what happened. Mr. Allen says Carla left town." Back at his cafe, Mark shares the story with Lucy. "Carla trained a cat here 20 years ago. The cafe's twin Moocha cat could be her descendant. The cat learned to sneak under the floor and steal beans for fun or survival." Back at his cafe, Mark shares the story with Lucy. "Carla trained a cat here 20 years ago. The cafe's twin Moocha cat could be her descendant. The cat learned to sneak under the floor and steal beans for fun or survival. They decide to modify the cafe to stop the theft. Mark orders a secure bean hopper with a lock. He plans to seal the panel under the counter. He also hires a local animal rescuer to check the tunnel and remove the cat safely. The next morning, a friendly woman named Nadia arrives. She knows about animal behavior. She wears a vest with "rescue" on it. Nadia examines the tunnel and the cat's tracks. She sets humane live traps with soft bedding and tuna treats. She plans to relocate the cat to a farm outside town where it can live safely. Mark watches Nadia work. He feels sad about losing the cafe's secret, but he knows he can't keep serving empty cups. He must protect his business and the animal. Before Nadia's work finishes, Mark and Lucy decide to review one more full day of footage. At closing time, they see twice more the cat emerge, eat beans, and disappear. They watch the cat slip into a tiny hole toward the street side of the I tunnel. The cat squeezed through a broken brick and ran into the alley. Mark copies the footage onto a USB drive. He gives it to Nadia. She thanks him. "This will help me find the cat," she says. That night, Nadia places humane traps in the alley and at the tunnel exit. The cat comes at midnight, guided by cocoa-scented beans. It enters the trap, eats, and is safely contained. The next day, Nadia brings the cat back, carrying it gently in a carrier. It looks confused but calm. Mark and Lucy say goodbye. Nadia drives away with the cat, promising a good home on the farm. Mark and Lucy seal the tunnel panel permanently. They install the secure bean hopper. Now no one can open it without a key. At 8 a.m., customers arrive. Mark grinds beans and keeps the hopper locked. He pours fresh coffee for Sarah and Tom. They sip happily. No empty cups appear. Mark smiles behind the counter. The cafe is back to normal. The empty cup mystery is solved. Early the next morning, the sun rises over the quiet street. Mark unlocks the cafe door at 7 a.m. He breathes in the familiar smell of fresh coffee. Today feels different. No secret tunnels, no empty cups, only the gentle hum of the grinder and the hiss of the steam wand. Lucy arrives at 7:15, carrying her notebook and her usual bright smile. They share a quiet moment behind the counter. "It feels normal again," Lucy says softly. Mark nods. "Yes. Thanks to Nadia, the cat is safe, and our beans are safe too." Lucy pours a small espresso for Mark. "To new beginnings," she toasts. Mark sips and smiles. "To new beginnings." At 7:30 a.m., the door chime rings. Sarah is the first to enter. She waves and Mark greets her cheerfully. "Good morning, Sarah. Your latte, just right this time." Sarah takes her cup, breathes in the aroma, and takes a careful sip. She nods. "Perfect, Mark." She sits at table 2 and works on her laptop. Next, Tom arrives at 8 a.m. He orders his usual Americano. Mark prepares it carefully and locks the bean hopper before grinding. When Tom lifts the cup, he laughs. "No disappearing act today." He winks at Mark. Mark laughs back. "No more magic, just good coffee." By 8:30 a.m., the cafe fills with regulars. Emma orders her cappuccino. Mr. Brown asks for his tea again. Anna, the barista friend, stops by for a comparison. She films as Mark makes a double espresso. Anna sips and nods approvingly. "Your machine's perfect," she says. "And no vanishing coffee." To celebrate the end of the mystery, Mark announces a small event. He hangs a handwritten sign on the wall. "Cafe reopening. Free pastries today." By noon, the line stretches outside. People are curious to taste the coffee and pastries that survived the mystery. Lucy hands out croissants and muffins at no charge. Customers smile and chat. A local newspaper reporter arrives to cover the story. She interviews Mark and Lucy about the empty cup mystery. Mark explains simply, "A cafe cat was stealing our beans through a secret tunnel. We rescued the cat and sealed the passage." The reporter laughs and writes it down. She takes photos of the cafe and its happy customers. By afternoon, social media buzzes with the hashtag #CafeMysterySolved. The cafe gains new followers online and a few new customers. Mark feels proud and relieved. He thanks Lucy for her help and Nadia for rescuing the cat. With the secret tunnel sealed, Mark and Lucy focus on daily operations. They set a clear routine. Morning check. Inspect the locked bean hopper and test all cameras. Quality control. Taste the first espresso shot. Customer care. Greet each guest and offer a complimentary pastry for first-time visitors. Lucy creates a simple checklist and posts it behind the counter. She also sets a reminder in their shared calendar to review camera footage once a week, just in case. The cafe cat's carrier sits in a corner, now empty but clean. They keep it as a memory of the adventure. Above it, they hang a small plaque. Mocha's Secret Tunnel, sealed 2025. It makes customers smile when they see it. News of the cafe's mystery brings the local community closer. Neighbors organize a monthly coffee and conversation event at the cafe. Each first Friday, people gather after work to chat, share stories, and taste new flavors. Mark develops a special event menu with seasonal drinks: pumpkin spice in autumn, mint mocha in winter, iced lavender latte in spring. Lucy leads a simple English practice group during the event. She prepares short texts and discussion questions. B1 level learners enjoy listening to each other and speaking about everyday topics: favorite books, travel memories, weekend plans. The cafe becomes both a social hub and a place to learn English. One afternoon, a young boy named Leo visits with his mother. He points to the plaque above the cat carrier and asks, Why is there a cat plaque here? Mark smiles and tells the story in simple words. Long ago, our cafe had a secret tunnel. A cat used it to steal coffee beans. We found the tunnel, saved the cat, and sealed the door. Now we have good coffee every day. Leo's eyes grow wide. He laughs and says, "That's like a mystery story." His mother thanks Mark for sharing. Mark realizes the story still delights people, especially children. That evening, Lucy types a short blog post titled, "Our Cafe Cat Mystery." She writes about teamwork, problem-solving, and kindness toward animals. She adds a few photos of the tunnel, before sealing, and the friendly cat. She ends with, "Every cafe has its story. Now ours has a happy ending." In the weeks that follow, Mark and Lucy reflect on what they learned. Be observant. Small clues, like paw prints or a hidden panel, can solve big mysteries. Teamwork matters. Mark and Lucy work together, trusting each other's ideas. Kindness first. They cared for an animal, even though it caused trouble. Keep learning. They used CCTV, library research, and expert help to find answers. They decide to share these lessons with their customers. On the cafe wall, they hang a simple poster. Mystery solved, observation, teamwork, kindness, learning. Customers read it and nod, inspired by the real-life adventure. Months later, everything feels calm and joyful. The cafe's windows shine in the morning light. The aroma of coffee and pastries welcomes each guest. Mark and Lucy stand behind the counter, ready to serve.